In today's video, we're going to do a retelling of the first time Conan the Barbarian was in comic books. Stay tuned for the video.
Let's get this bread.
The book that we are going to be reviewing is Conan the Barbarian #1 that was printed in October of 1970 and published by Marvel Comics. This was a change from the spandex-clad superheroes of the Silver Age and the 1960s. Many people consider Conan the Barbarian #1 the first Bronze Age comic book in that it brought about a darker, grittier theme in comic books. Stay through to the end of the video to hear my opinion on this historic book. My goal for doing these comic book reviews are to show the readers historical or comic books in a historical light. Come with us to the Barbarian Age. Come with us back to the dark centuries which sprawl between the sinking of Atlantis and the dawn of recorded time. To the days when the now forgotten land of Aquilonia was the mightiest of nations, and a man's life was worth no more than the strength of his sword arm. Come to us to the raw, untamed world of Conan the Barbarian. It is summer in Vanahelm, one of the northernmost of all the known or unknown lands, and the last traces of vagrant snow vanish like softly dying dreams on both mountain and plain. But this day the blood-eyed sun looks down on the slash and savagery of combat, as a raiding party of Asir do battle with the fierce-born Vanir. And foremost among the skirmishing, roaring barbarians is one with locks of darkest jet. Speaker prayers stripling for camp songs are sung in Vanahelm of the prowess of Gondar. My life is for me to give and not for you to take, and I do not choose to give it. Conan continues, Yet perhaps men shall sing one last song of boastful Gondar. If so, they'll say he was the first man of the Vanir to fall before the slicing sword of Conan the Cimmerian. Conan the Cimmerian, in time to come, a name to conjure with, but now, Conan is merely a mightily thrown youth, fresh from his first taste of battle at Vanahelm, and become a mercenary with his raiding band from the nearby borders of wind-swept Asgard. The sound of strident shouting draws him to the edge of the ridge on which he stands, nor do his night-dark eyes view the scene below with favor. That bearded Asir besieged by a trio of yapping foes. No affair of mine, I've done my day's work for Asir gold. Still, why should one lion die and 3 jackals live? Conan rushes into the fray of a guy who he really doesn't know, but he knows that he's fighting on his side. See, Conan right here is a mercenary, and he's just getting paid for this battle. But he rushes into it and he screams, By Crom, they shall not. Then, Conan's blade is cutting a deadly arc. The grim youth wades through the clander of battle, all the time seeing nothing save the valiant bearded Asir and the 3 who besiege him. He is down, the tall one is fallen. Then strike, for we cannot hold him long, and you Vanir dogs, I'll... After the mighty Asir hollers, the next instant, a bolt of living lightning, and 2 men of Vanahelm shall never rise again. Ha! If you can handle 2 of these pigs, dark hair, surely Olaf will have no trouble with the 3rd. I never thought you would, my friends, Conan says. The golden-haired Asir says back to Conan, You insolent youth, just because you saved my life, don't dare to call me friend until I tell ye. Wait, what is it the others are shouting? Shouts go out from the other soldiers. They're fleeing. Then we've won. That'll teach those red-haired scum to come sneaking over our borders when they can't even defend their own. Let's go after them. Don't chase them. Let them run. Olaf says, he's right, lads. First we bind our wounds and bury our dead. Time enough then to carry the fight to the dog's own camp. Then Olaf looks at Conan. You take command quickly, boy. For one I saw join our party only this morning. But you don't seem to know it's Olaf who gives the orders here. What is your name? Conan replies, I am Conan, a Cimmerian. Olaf looks Conan up and down, and you could tell that there's a respect forming between these two. And Olaf says, and a young one at that. You're a long way from home, boy. Got to Wanderlust, eh? Well, you saved my weathered hide, sure enough, and here's my hand for it. Tell me, why'd you join our band instead of theirs? We both pay off in good northern gold. And Conan looks right at him. But you, as seer, pay more gold. Olaf chuckles. An honest Cimmerian, eh? Well, Olaf likes that. Now I figure that those dogs will stop to rest in that pass yonder, so we'll climb around and attack them from above. What think you of that, lad? Conan merely says, you pay, so you lead. Olaf, you know, Conan, I think perhaps you were too honest, and besides that, you talk too much. While not far distant, behind hastily erected defenses, the bone-weary men of Vanahelm weigh their chances. Another straggler bearing his dead comrade. This morning we outnumbered our foemen. Now our forces are halved. Cursed be the day we first looted the border towns of Asgard. Soft, lad. Lest your grumblings be reached to the ears of Wulf himself. And apart from his men sits their leader, tall and lithe, his mind alive with the wild cunnings of the beast whose hide he wears, the wily Wulf. The men grow restive, mighty one, fearful. And not without cause, Hrothgar. With Gondar dead, we have no warrior who can stand against grim Olaf, or the dark-haired cur who shaved him. Volk continues, but just because they must die, Hrothgar, does it follow that we must perish with them? Hrothgar is scheming, and he says, I see your meaning, great Wulf. Wulf goes over to the men, and he says, men of the Northlands, heed my words. Hrothgar and I go to call upon the gods to seek their favor this day. You will remain here until the hour when we return. The men just look back and say, hey, Wulf, you said our men weren't fools, great Wulf. Yet did cattle ever await slaughter more willingly? They'll flee, Hrothgar, after they've molded over long enough. But even then, they'll form a buffer between us and the vengeful Aesir. Oh, what is this I see before me? A cave with strange symbols above its entrance, and a ghostly glow from somewhere within. Come, let's see what lies beyond these stone portals. Inside the cave lie an ancient one and a young woman. The ancient one says, enter, Wulf. Enter, Hrothgar. I have been waiting for you. Hrothgar is amazed. An old man, as thin as death itself, and a young girl. Who are they, to dwell in these lonely hills, and how did the old one know our names? Wulf says that we'll learn, Hrothgar, when we accept their invitation. Perhaps they can guide us through these mountains to a place where our pursuers can never find us. Follow me, but be on guard for Aesir trickery. The Ancient One says, you'll find a gold-stressed trickery here, wily one. My hair, when I did have it, was scarlet as your own. Wulf replies, by the gods, this place is a cave without and a temple within. If not else, we can hide in here for a time. I still say, beware. And the Ancient One replies, and I say, scoffer, that you need not fear Skarsgård, he who is called the Shaman. Your coming was foretold to me in a vision I had when last I gazed into the yonder starstone. Years ago it fell from the many-jeweled sky. Then perhaps you can call up forces which may yet bring me victory, says Wulf. That I can for a price. I have need of a strong young warrior captive, far mightier than either of you. There be such among your foemen, no? Wulf responds, your words are best fit a youthful dark hair who battles on his side of the seer. But tell me, with the powers you say you have, why do you need such a one? The Ancient One replies, that is my affair. Skarkosh begins to explain. Suffice it to say, it concerns the beautiful handmaiden who sits beside me, she whose smile has made more bearable an old man's self-exile. Well, are my terms agreed to? Wulf responds, what have I to lose? Unleash your phantom army. Skarkosh just smiles. I have no need of a full army, man of the veneer. Now be silent, and you will observe marvels such as are whispered about over slowly dying campfires. Then, from the old shaman's lips, hisses an incantation that was old when Atlantis sank, a spell such as once was muttered among the purple-towered cities of ancient evil Acheron. A living fire seems to grow, unbanked within the sky-sent jewel. An eerie, putrid glow fills each crevice of the rock-hewn chamber. And then the starstone begins to hum. Elsewhere, Conan whispers to Olaf, the veneer skulk about below, suspecting nothing. You were wisely chosen to avenge recent border raids, Olaf. But why do you scowl so? How can an escape of one lone foe mar your joy, Olaf? Olaf shoots back. You don't know him, Conan. As long as he lives, no Aesir can sleep with both eyes closed. Still, we of Asgard have a saying, if the wolf be not at home when you come to call, then slay its pups. Attack, my brothers. The soldiers of Vanahelm look above them. The Aesir have found us. Wulf, where is Wulf the Wily? Perhaps you'll greet him one day in a hall of shades, screams Conan. A strange sound comes into the battlefield. And now hold! What sound is that? Like the beating of 1,000 angry wings. One of the Aesir soldiers says to Conan, not 1,000, youth, only 3 pairs, but fixed to the body of monsters. Look, there in the heavens, at the horrid demon horde which descends upon us. Conan only has one word, Crom. Other soldiers are saying, flee. What man-forged blade can fend off bat-winged devils? Down upon the startled tribesmen swoop the trio from beyond, nor do they spare either Seer or Veneer in their deadly, voiceless assault. Yet, one man stands his ground and is rewarded by a cry as such as no living man has heard. The things can be hurt, says Volof. Then to me, lads, we'll still save the day. But this day is not for saving, as a pinion shape springs upon Olaf from behind, and he crumples in a lifeless heap. Olaf is dead! And now black talons twitch from my throat, screams Conan. For the past few fateful seconds, young Conan was held back from the one-sided battle. For above all else, the barbarous Cimmerians do fear things supernatural. But now, at the sight of valiant life snuffed out like the merest candle, the fear spell is broken. Be you demon or divine, heaven sent or spawned in hell, Olaf shall be avenged. But the barbarian's only answer is a forceful flapping of the dark wings, a sudden sensation of weightlessness which loosens his sword grip. A bony hand against which all his youthful strength is useless. Then the feeling of being dropped like some broken rag doll toward peaks on which a blanket of snow still lingers. And finally, a nameless, all-consuming blackness. An eternity later, Conan drifts back to the waking world, escorted by the touch of soft fingers, the wafting trace of an exotic scent, and the caress of a girl's hushed voice. Arise, young barbarian, your time is almost come. Who calls Conan back from the place of dreams? I am Terra, so called by the great shaman. Conan responds, Shaman? Am I then the prisoner of a sorcerer? Terra softly speaks back. You speak quickly to the point. My master is perhaps a sorcerer of sorts, but his powers are not truly his own. They all derive from the Starstone, which foretold even that you would be delivered unto us. Conan shoots back. What does he want of me? And am I to be sacrificed upon some pagan altar? No, handsome one. There shall be no sacrifice, but only a trade. A trade? But what? Terra says back. Say no more, but keep silence. Without yon wooden bars, the ceremony begins. Then Conan's blood runs cold as he beholds anew the winged demons near them. Two smirking Vanir and a wizened old one who can only be the shaman. The shaman says he can't. O Starstone, sacred jewel, which fell like rain from on high. The Vanir men be still scoffers, not true believers in your awesome power. Give us a sign of that power so that the ceremony of transferal may be accomplished. Then before the amazed eyes of Vanir and Cimmerian alike, a vision fills a darkened chamber, a scene of a world that once was. Behold Velusia, mightiest mainland kingdom in the days before Atlantis sank. Even I have never before delivered so far into the past. More, Great Stone, tell us more. Shaman and savages gaze deeply, see the latter days of Velusia when the land was oft ruled by barbarian monarchs, and when the greatest of these usurpers was outcast, Atlantean King Call. Watch in horror now, as the cataclysm rocks the world, as earthquakes and volcanoes change the face of a planet, as Velusia herself fades into legend, and the thirst-crazed oceans drink the island men called Atlantis. Next, behold a baby born not 20 winters ago, on a battlefield in Cimmeria, amid a raid by the fearsome Vanir. Look upon that babe, now grown to young manhood, receiving his baptism of fire and sword at a distant Venarium, but a winter gone. And now be witness to the most awesome sight of all, as this barbarian, amidst a hailing populace, crowns himself king of a mighty Hyborian empire. The shaman becomes distressed as the Starstone shows images throughout time. Hold, 'tis not the past we see now, but the future. Yet the Cimmerian can have no future, for he is to be offered upon a ceremony of transferal. I must see more, still more. While nearby, young Conan wastes few precious moments trying to fathom the mysteries of time and space, but continues to test the bars of his makeshift prison. And still the visions dance madly on, revealing man hurled back into an age of stone and beginning anew his slow upward climb. Towards wonders undreamt of, even in this, the height of the Hyborian age. The shaman says, by the gods, I seem to behold far-off Stygia, under another name and another time. I must see more. I must know more. More! Wolf is getting worried now. Stop, old man. You are going too far. We were not meant to look onto things like these before. But the wide-eyed shaman heeds not, as the image of man's ultimate conquest floods the pit-dark chamber in the earth. The center of primitive man's small universe is left far, far behind. Wolf, what madness is this? The stars, the stars. These sights have driven the old man mad. Then, even as that cry still echoes, Terra screams, Conan, stop! You'll be slain! And Conan replies, then let me die a warrior's death, not pinned up like some sheep ripe for slaughter. The Cimmerian has broken free. He's far stronger than we thought. Kill him! And Conan responds to Wolf, maybe you will, but first I'll see yon Starstone shattered, From its depth, I know, came the winged devils which slew the valiant Olaf. But you'll call forth no more fiends from beyond. Conan continues, not while there is yet breath in Conan's body and strength in Conan's arms, death to the harbinger of hell. Conan's simple, barbarian mind could not have guessed what happens next. As the starstone strikes the chamber wall and erupts in a blazing pyroclasm which scatters demon and raider alike, while the young Cimmerian scoops up the lithe form of the girl called Tara and flees in mortal terror for both their lives. And behind them, the winged ones fade swiftly back into that dim netherworld which spawned them, like straws consumed by a holocaust, while the dying shaman shouts unavailing spells into the raging inferno. And Volf the Wily learns at last that all his trickery has but lighted his way to a flaming death. For, even as Conan bears his lovely burden into the open air, a fiery explosion rocks the cavern behind them. Terragas, you fool, you barbarian fool, you have doomed me. Curse the moment of weakness when I felt pity for you. A confused Conan, doomed. Say, you're safe now, out of that madman's clutches. You still do not comprehend, barbarian, but you shall in a few fleeting moments. Conan says, what are you raving about, woman? I have saved you from the fires within, only to have your mouth nonsense. Ah, crumbs, devils, what vile sorcery is this? Conan exclaims, the female I carried from the cave is changed in one of the winged demons. And Terror responds, so you would call me mortal? Not long ago, the old shaman whisked me from my universe within the shattered starstone, transformed me into an earthly handmaid to light his lonely days. But he could not keep me here forever unless another took my place in my distant world. Conan says, and that other was to be me? Terror continues as she is transforming. And so you know at last the secret of the ceremony of transferal. But now my own cosmos calls me to endure eternity the hellish flames which flicker there. Fare thee well, mortal, and recall one day that Terra found you fair. Conan is solemn as he finds himself alone. Wonder upon wonder, the winged one is gone, to worlds where no man can follow. Then there is no more need for spoken words, for none are left alive to hear them. Smoke pours from the shaman's cavern, dark herald of the death that all within have died. Night-winged thoughts flit across Conan's brain, memories of the dread deeds of the day just done, the slaying of a valiant friend, the marvels of an invisible world revealed, images of many towered cities and dying continents, and of kings. Wasn't there something about a kingdom? A vision of Conan as monarch of some unguessed at land. But already the image fades. Too long ago and too fantastic to trouble the mind of a youth who has neither dagger nor venison to sustain him. Hey, I told you guys I was going to give you my opinion on this. Now, to me, this cover from Barry Windsor Smith, who at the time just went by Barry Smith, is one of the most iconic comic book covers of all time. Definitely one of the most iconic of the Bronze Age. This brought about a new style in comic book writing. We had the spandex-clad superheroes like I talked about in the 60s, and they were wildly popular. Stan Lee did a fabulous job with them. And Roy Thomas wanted to bring the sword and sorcery genre into comics. He thought it would play well. At first he was trying to get Lord of the Rings, but the rights to reprint or retell some of those stories, it was just going to be too much. So they kind of concentrated on a Conan run, and they got it for good price. And read the backstory how Roy Thomas got the rights to redo Conan in comics. It's a fabulous story, but the storytelling is fabulous. This is a different type of a hero. It's a lot grittier. He will kill people and doesn't really feel bad about it. And we talked about it at the very beginning of the video, where it doesn't take long before you realize this savage in this savage world has a moral compass that he goes by. And he's doing something similar that all those spandex-clad comic heroes did. He was always trying to right wrongs, and he was always trying to fight on the side of good. And you just get excited to read these stories, and you start to appreciate them. So if this does nothing else, I hope it gets interest for new readers in Conan the Barbarian. I really do think this is a genre for a lot of people to like and enjoy, and I hope you do too. But this is Matt. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications. This way you get notification every time I drop a video. We're trying to drop a video twice a week now. I was there for a while trying to do once a week, but we've kind of upped our game. So anyhow, guys, thank you for watching. Hey, in today's video, hold up. In today's video, wait, hold up, let me do it again, because I did, no, you're fine.